All right, so here we're going to be talking briefly about some standard color palettes used by artists, certain color combinations, and all of these are based on that Itten wheel. When we're talking about, opposite colors like complements and stuff, we're talking about colors that are opposite each other on that Itten color wheel. So first off, we're going to kick it off with monochromatic. This is the simplest possible one. This is a straight hue with its tints, shades, and tones. So here we have just a red monochromatic painting. So the only hue, the only color in this painting is red, but this artist is using mixing in all sorts of lights and darks in order to get still a full, range of value and give us a sense of three-dimensionality in this image.
Another color scheme that we can use is called an analogous color scheme. So here again, we have your standard Itten wheel. An analogous color scheme will take like 3 or 4, usually 3, but you can kind of extend it out a little further. You're going to take colors that are next to each other, and that will make it have a variety of color, but still be pretty harmonized. So here we have an Egon Schiele, and you can see that it's all in like the warm reds, oranges, those kinds of colors, and it helps like really unify an image. Now he does have like a little moment here, and oftentimes you'll get that because it helps create a focal point where there's a cooler color mixed in here, but this is a pretty good example of someone who's using an analogous color scheme.
So next we've got the complementary color scheme. This is taking two colors from opposite sides of the color wheel. A really common combination you'll see is that blue and orange. You'll see a lot of movies are like color graded blue and orange. That's a really overwhelmingly popular one. But we can also see it in some artwork here. Here is a Van Gogh painting, Cafe Terrace at Night. So you can see all of his blue night sky, the blue buildings and stuff, as contrasted with that bright orange, orangey yellow terrace there in front of the cafe. So those are two colors opposite each other, and they balance each other out really nicely by giving us that strong contrast between the warm and the cool, and help draw our eyes to the focal point there with the bright orange.
Another one, and there's a ton of these, we're just giving you the most basic ones, but when designers are designing, they often rely on these type of things to make sure that their work works well. Another standard one is a triadic. So in a triadic, you basically create a triangle. I mean, the most obvious one would be red, blue, yellow, or green, blue, purple, but any kind of 3 on a triangle could create a triadic scheme. Here's one where we're just using the primary colors. This is a Roy Lichtenstein modern art poster screen print, and you can see that he's using red, blue, yellow. So that kind of gives you that play school kid like kind of toy look, because again, it's pretty intense. There's a lot of good kind of value variety, light, dark, mid-tones, and then it doesn't have to be pure colors. This is just tends to be pure hues on what we're showing you here.
You can also go for no color at all. So this is where we get achromatic. This is a black and white photograph by Ansel Adams. So achromatic means makes no use of color or very minimal or very desaturated colors. This one has no color at all. It's a black and white photograph.
And I think that's important that people know that when you're dealing with grays, this one's pretty straight gray, but oftentimes when you're looking at grays do have like at least warmth or coolness to them. You may not be able to say that's like a blue gray, but a lot of painters will do something that looks achromatic, but there will be subtle temperature shifts and stuff within the gray. So that's something to pay attention to as well. So those are just some of the basic color schemes that you can use. Like I said, there's a bunch more. But next, we're going to get into my favorite part of color, which is kind of the weird things that go on in your brain when it's looking at color, and make sure that you like go watch that immediately because it's all really cool.